Hey everyone, welcome into the channel. My name is Ryan. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. Today I'm going to be talking about a drama film called The Friend. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Definitely hit that subscribe button. I do all kinds of reviews on this channel. Give the video a like and comment below your thoughts on The Friend. Now this film was directed by Scott McGehee and David Siegel, which I've never seen any of their previous works. The film stars Naomi Watts and Bill Murray. And this film is about a writer, her name is Iris, played by Naomi Watts, in which she is mourning the death of her best friend, who is Bill Murray in this case. He ends up committing suicide, and he leaves behind a dog, a Great Dane, named Apollo. Nobody else wants to adopt this dog, so Iris gets stuck with this dog. Now, I did see a trailer going into this film, and my first thought was, okay, a dog film. Most dog films, they actually give you kind of emotions. Usually, like, maybe they give you a little bit misty and teary-eyed, and usually they have like a good message, and most of the time they're like a fun movie, and sometimes you can really have like the family join on in and watch a movie like this and it be kind of not really harmful. From a positive standpoint, I will say that the way that the film is actually shot, from like shot composition to camera work, is pretty good. There's a decent cast here. There are some other cast members that are in here, but to be honest, they don't really play like a big role. You learn that Bill Murray, he has some ex-wives, and they're on screen a little bit, and then he also has a daughter as well. And really, they're not really in the movie all that much. We get a few scenes with them, but they don't really add like a ton to the film, unfortunately. Most of this movie is really spending time with Iris and her character. And really, to be honest, I really wasn't a big fan of her character. Yes, she's a writer, but she's kind of a boring character, to be honest. I couldn't really relate to her whatsoever, and she's not really like an exciting character altogether. She really doesn't even really care about this dog. She's just taking him in because it was Bill Murray's dog, and she's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll take in this dog, but she's trying to rehome the dog. She technically can't have the dog in her apartment. She has this guy named Hector, who I think is probably like one of the best characters in here. He has a very humble character. He's very gentle type of character, and he really doesn't want to kick this dog actually out. And there's like a battle in the movie for like this dog being kicked out and her actually being evicted. That's like a plot point in the movie. And another plot point of the movie is really her just trying to get to know this dog and really kind of change her ways of actually having a dog, because I guess apparently she's more of a cat lover, so to speak, but she doesn't have any animals. She's single. She doesn't have any kids or anything like that. So like this dog is who she's actually taking care of. But the thing for me is this movie is just a slog to get through. For the first 70 minutes of this film, it just feels like a lot of rinse and repeat. We have Naomi Watts. She's walking through New York, walking through a park, or walking on the street, walking this dog. The dog throughout the entirety of this film, he's just really droopy-eyed. He's not like a very exciting dog. He doesn't really bark or anything. At one point, he does destroy like some of her pillows and stuff like that, which is kind of like what a dog would do, especially if they're in that kind of environment. But a lot of this movie, for the first 70 minutes, is her just walking this dog. We see her kind of in the apartment, and she's talking to the dog. The dog takes up space on the bed, and there's just not really a whole lot going on. And it's like this for the first 70 minutes. So I'm thinking to myself, as this movie's going along, first off, who is this movie actually for? Because on one end, it's very heavy subject material with the fact that Bill Murray killed himself. So right there, that's very heavy material. I don't think it's a family film, because I don't think kids could actually enjoy this, because it's not really like a fun or comedy type of film. It's very dramatic like, and to be honest, even the narration throughout this film, it's very much like Gilmore Girls. You have Naomi Watts, who does actually narrate in this film, and I was just thinking to myself, it's a very Lifetime-y type of movie as it's going along. And there just wasn't like a lot really going on. And after about 70 minutes in this movie, we flash forward, I would say like 10 minutes more after that, we start to really go into how she really feels, and she goes to this therapist, and apparently this Great Dane now is her emotional support animal. So they kind of go and they talk about that a little bit. And like the last, I would say like 30-35 minutes of this movie is mainly her trying to get her feelings out and how she really feels about Bill Murray's character. And there's like a little bit of a flashback scene where Bill Murray does actually come on the screen. And if you're looking to actually see Bill Murray in this movie, he's only in the movie for about 10-15 minutes. Also, with all the other side characters that are in here, like his ex-wives and his long-lost daughter, which we don't really learn a lot about any of these characters. They'll just appear on screen, have one little scene, have a line, and they don't really add anything to the film. My biggest problem with movies this year, and this is one of them that I have a huge problem with, is just runtime and caring about the audience's attention. Like, this movie's way too long. It's 2 hours long. It doesn't have like a lot to say when it comes to the story. There's not a lot going on. So the pacing is just way off. I just think sometimes directors need to understand, if you don't have like a really big story and you are stretching your runtime 2.5 hours, you've got to cut it down. Please, for the love of God, care about, our kind of patience and the fact that we are watching a movie like this. And when you put out a movie like this where you're not really having a very well edited movie, it's just really hard to really get through. It's hard to recommend. And again, like I said, from the tones of this movie and the way that it just kind of goes from scene to scene, there are certain characters that they don't really explain later who they actually are until later in the movie, which I think is a complete miss. I mean, that's something you kind of have to do because it leaves your audience kind of lost. And I did feel at times when they were having like these random characters on screen, I'm like, how do they actually relate to the movie? The dog isn't really all that fun. When you watch a dog movie, you're thinking, okay, I have some emotion towards the dog. But the dog throughout this entirety of this movie is just really droopy-eyed. And I get it. He's mourning the loss of Bill Murray as well, and that was his owner, and he was used to him doing things for him. But like, you have the same kind of emotions, and then you have a lot of the same scenes within the first like 70 minutes of this movie. It's very tough to sit there and have patience to just watch the same thing over and over again. I think you could cut that down maybe like 25-30 minutes, have a little bit more story within that, and really get a little bit more of a grasp of why she's feeling the way that she feels, and maybe going a little bit more into that. And yes, it does it, but it's just way too late by the time it does do it. And then towards the end, as we're getting to the third act, there's certain parts where I was like, okay, we can just end the movie right here. And the movie keeps on going. I mean, it probably goes on for like another 20-25 minutes, and I'm like, this is just ridiculous. Like, with pacing and just the way that they're filling in all these extra things, it's just not needed. Like, for this kind of story and how simple it is and how like simplistic the plot is, and the fact that there's not like a ton of really things going on, especially within like the drama department, which it's also funny too, because when you click on the app of AMC, this says it's labeled as a comedy. There is no comedy in this film. That's another thing that really drives me crazy too, is you click on these movies and maybe you don't really know a whole lot about it, and then people from the outside that don't see trailers like this and they see, oh, it's comedy, it's labeled as a comedy, they go into this and they're expecting a comedy. This isn't a comedy. It's literally a drama film about a writer that's really having writer's block, and then her just kind of bonding with this animal. I mean, that's kind of like the biggest like plot point of this movie, and then having extra characters that don't matter, and then a prolonged runtime to which the conclusion, I guess you can say, is satisfying to a point because she grows a little bit as a character, but to get there, it's just not all that great. And again, her character is boring as hell. I just did not care for her whatsoever. So as far as the score for this film, I would give it a 1 out of 5. It just wasn't good. It's a miss. Don't even bother wasting your time with this one. There's just so many other dog movies out there that, at least you can have some type of emotion. I didn't have any emotion with these characters, and even by the time the film actually wrapped up, I still didn't feel anything, and that's a big problem, because for a movie like this, you should definitely feel kind of emotions. I'm a dog lover. I like cats. I like animals. So I should feel something by the time this film ended, and I felt nothing. So this movie was dull. It's a miss. Definitely skip it. But what did you guys think about this movie? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was kind of meh? Leave any and all comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and also, what is your favorite Bill Murray movie? Leave that comment down below as well. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time.